Hello. Sometimes the dustiest cover hides the best book. Sometimes the best cup is chipped. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's a quote from Once Upon a Time, the TV show. I'm on season 2. And I don't know, do you have those moments sometimes when you forget you need to recharge your creative well, and it's only when you're sitting down, getting lost in a show, that you have an inkling in your mind, that you get inspired, that you get the itch to write, but that you have also new stories coming to your mind and new characters and everything. I had that. So with that quote and other moments in Once Upon a Time, and also I've had that with this lyric from Taylor Swift, I take this magnetic force of a man to be my lover. The amount of times I listened to that song while drafting Sweets for Love, it was a few times. I don't have the exact number, I didn't count. And no, I didn't check my Spotify Wrapped yet. Plus I used 2 emails for Spotify. So I don't know if it's going to be, the data might be skewed. So as I said, I've been watching Once Upon a Time. I also watched recently Tiny Pretty Things and Firefly Lane Season 2. And right now, as I'm saying that, I'm thinking, man, I should have been working more instead of watching all those shows. But I did. I did work. And I did work quite a lot. And while with some of the shows, I did absolutely nothing else. Like, I think Tiny Pretty Things was one of the first shows that I sat down during, I think it was an afternoon, and I just watched. And yes, there were moments that made me go, but I cannot wait to read the books. I just had a creative moment while watching, and maybe because I write, I used to write about ballet dancers and dancers, maybe that's why, but it was interesting because relaxing is something that I used to do so well, and it sounds strange when I say it like this, but I've always been, or I keep busy. Like I am busy. I have a lot of projects. I do a lot. And sometimes I don't realize how much I do until I talk to somebody and they're like, wow, you do a lot during your day. And I always had a way to just sit down sometimes and just watch TV, just read, just relax, like not do anything else, not be on my phone, not be on the computer, not just be in the moment, right? And I haven't had that moment in a while. I mean, I did when I went with my husband. We went to Cape Cod, and it was very relaxing. I didn't work, but we were also on the go. We were doing things together. It was definitely relaxing, and I did recharge the creative well. I mean, I was outside. We were by the water, and I think we were eating at that moment. And I was just thinking, and I think we had a beer. We had a beer and we were eating, and it was just by the water again. And it was just one of those moments when you're just taking it all in and realize how lucky you are and just how happy and just everything. And I've definitely had those moments, and I have those moments even more, I think, sometimes now. All that to say that I watched a show and had this moment, and also realized that I needed to take more time to relax, to take a breather. And it's a reminder that I need to take that time, that I cannot always be on the go, 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 go. Because sometimes, when you're just very exhausted, it's not the same as watch something and you're relaxed. And that's a great feeling. And I hope you have it. I hope you have these relaxing moments if you need them. And another thing that I've been doing quite a bit is listening to more podcast episodes and reading resources and thinking about my strength. I signed up for the HP90 session to plan my next quarter with Sarah Cannon and refocus on my goals or finding my goals. And this episode is about Kindle Vella, so I will not go into depth about all of that right now. I wanted to give you an update about what has been working, what hasn't been working, and some data on my Kindle Vella experience. So first of all, I wrote, revised, and edited 93,000 words across 2 Vella stories since March 2022 until today. One story is in the 2nd season, and the 2nd story is still in the 1st season. Published across those 2 stories, 79 episodes so far. I had 25,533 episodes read total, locked episodes 15,580. So those are the episodes that people had to use tokens for. And it gets complicated because there was like a free promo at some point during Kindle Vella, and those unlocked episodes were counted into the total episodes read. So it can get a bit confusing for that, but still at least 15,580 locked episodes read. I have 926 followers. So those are people who are following my stories. Again, it's across both stories. I'm not doing the breakdown per each story. And I have a total of 2,992 thumbs up on my stories. And since March 2022 until October 2022, I had a revenue of about $8,000 with those Vella stories. I spent about $1,235 on Facebook ads for a total profit of about $6,765 in those 8 months. So about $845 per month. I also did some TikTok videos to help promote the stories. And I was working on average between 6 hours per week to 10 hours per week on those Vella stories, including the TikTok videos. So that was really depending on how many episodes I was releasing. And again, that was depending on the advertising. So if I did 1 video, 2 videos, if I was trying to do a video per day, which I did not for that account at least. So, and it was not only writing the episode, it was also revising and editing. So every episode, of course, goes through a process of not only drafting, but also revising, editing, sometimes editing more than once or revising more than once. But so I earned about $21 to $36 per hour if I do an average. Of course, it doesn't count taxes, but it also doesn't count what I'm going to be able to deduct as expenses when it comes to the taxes as well. So let's just say between $21 and $36 per hour for the stories that I did not finish writing yet, meaning that this is an income that I've received in a way for stories that I'm currently drafting. There is no the end yet on those stories. I mean, one of the books is technically done. And by technically, because I need to revise it again to make it more into an ebook, but I'm getting into that. So I'm writing them as I publish them, or I publish them as I'm writing them. Both of them are true. Sometimes I have several episodes ready to go, which is really the way I prefer to have it, where I have episodes scheduled ahead of time. But sometimes I scramble to write and revise and edit an episode so that at least one of my 2 stories continues to grow and earn crowns. Crowns are when a reader faves your story for the week as their favorite story. And if you have a certain amount of faves, then you get a crown, and then you're on the top 250 stories on Kindle Vella. And I want my stories to rank, of course, as high as possible, because I think it matters in the bonus, and also because, I mean, who doesn't want to be in the top whatever when it comes to their book, right? That means more and more people, I mean, depending on what you want. Maybe you just want to reach the reader who is going to be so touched by your story, or you want to reach the reader that's going to learn how to read, or that's going to maybe be soothed or distracted. I mean, there are a lot of goals. I think I've talked about it in the last episode, but when it comes, I also enjoy having a story, do all that, plus being in the top 250. So as I was mentioning, I am planning to revise the stories to make them into a novel. The format for me, the serialized fiction format, is different, as I don't write the serialized fiction the same exact way as I'm writing novels. They're shorter. They have a lot more cliffhangers. I mean, my episodes try to have cliffhangers at the end, or like ways for the readers to be propelled to keep reading, but those ones really have a lot of cliffhangers. It's very angsty and everything else. But in addition, I've mentioned before, but writing and publishing serialized fiction is giving me a serotonin boost or an endorphin boost or some kind of boost that makes me happy. I do enjoy publishing regularly, and I do enjoy this type of fiction. I used to write fan fiction years ago, and while of course my serialized fiction is not fan fiction, some of the ways that I'm writing is similar in terms of upping the stakes and being very soap opera-ish and everything. So I love publishing and I love pressing the publish button. And here, coming back to what I've mentioned at the beginning, maybe it has to do with my strengths as a writer. So I did mention I took the Gallup test and I'm thinking of taking that class next year. But the caveat of Kindle Vella is the bonus structure. So I can rave and rave and rave about how I'm enjoying getting paid, as I write, which is something that is important to me. So yes, getting a bonus is wonderful. Every month I wait with bated breath, I refresh the page. It's not always on the same exact date, but I know that it's usually during the afternoon, so Eastern time. So it's not like I'm glued to my computer. I mean, I do other things, but still the anticipation is there and a little bit of anxiety because I never know what it's going to be. So I'm trying to tell myself, you don't count on bonuses. Bonuses is something that might come and go. I need to just focus on getting the words out and enjoying the process, of course, but also having the plan of publishing afterwards. But those bonuses have been working pretty well for me. It's also very hard to know what recipe Amazon is going to use that month to decide on the allocation of the bonus. But so we don't know what exactly Amazon is using to decide on those bonuses. What are they going to weigh more this time? Is it the likes, the crowns, the ranking, the number of episodes uploaded, the new episodes like series started? Which one is going to be weighted more than the other? And again, I know I cannot rely fully on the bonus as a constant and certain source of income. However, it has helped me write and revise, and I am enjoying writing those stories under a pen name. Plus, I already know from Facebook ads comments that while some readers are not fans at all of the serialized format or they're not fan of Kindle Vella, they are asking me to let them know if I do turn the stories into an ebook. A lot of them are asking about if the book is going to be on Kindle Unlimited. Those ads do target people who have or people who are interested in ebooks on Kindle. And I will definitely let them know. So the first season of my first series could technically be turned into an ebook right now. But since the second season isn't yet done and you have to wait to turn Kindle Vella episodes into long-form content until those Kindle Vella episodes have been available to readers in the Kindle Vella store for at least 30 days. So technically, I don't think I could put book 2 for pre-order because it's not finished yet. And I want to make sure it's available for pre-order once I release book 1, because book 1 ends on a pretty big cliffhanger, which I'm crossing my fingers will mean people will want to buy book 2. And when I say it's technically ready to be turned into an ebook, it would be without me changing what I actually want to change. Like, I'm not going to change the storyline or the characters or anything like that, but I am going to maybe flesh out a little bit some of the episodes and things that are more that what ebook readers expect more than serialized fiction readers. And I want to have, on top of it, I want to have both of them ready to go. So book 1 and book 2 of that series, because I want to try, keyword try, to have both books ready to go before even releasing book 1, which would be, for me, would be kind of a first. And I want to have the third book from this pen name ready to go as soon as book 2 of that series of the first series is released. So I'm doing a lot of prep ahead of time, but because I'm publishing it on Kindle Vella, it doesn't feel like I'm waiting and not getting something done and just which I think for me, I like to do things. I like things to be accomplished and things like this. And publishing a book takes time for me. It also takes time sometimes to find the story. And I think for that, I need to change a little bit the way that I'm outlining. I'll talk about this more. I'm going to stay on Kindle Vella for this episode. I'm trying to stay on topic here. So going back to my Kindle Vella, I think that readers in Kindle Unlimited will probably devour, crossing my fingers. I mean, I'm not crossing my fingers. I know that if they find the books, they will devour the stories. I just have to make sure they find it. And for that, TikTok videos might actually work better than it did for my Kindle Vella or for my books that are white, because I think there are more and more TikTok viewers or users who are readers who are also Kindle Unlimited, I think, subscribers, at least in the United States. In terms of steamy romance, here I'm talking about a particular segment, and I'm not saying, because I had books that I have been purchased outside of Amazon from, I believe, TikTok videos on other platforms. Here I'm talking about this particular series under the pen name because I'm still going to continue building my Elodie Novodatsky books and releasing books, and those ones I am still planning as of today to keep wide. But that pen name I will be putting on Kindle Unlimited. And in addition, I already know which Facebook ads to use and which readers to target based on the ones I've already used, the ads that I've already used that have been successful for Kindle Vella. I can replicate them and do them for the Kindle Unlimited stories, and I can target, I have an audience already that I know might be interested based on the comments. So what I don't have yet is a website or a newsletter for that particular pen name. I'm going to work on those prior to publication into long form content, so prior to publication in ebook and paperback. And there's another caveat, because I've been talking about, my bonuses, and when it comes to my bonuses and what I'm earning on Kindle Vella, like everywhere else, I am doing better than a lot of writers. I am doing not as good as other writers. I think in terms of number of stories that are currently on Vella, my one story, which is consistently ranked in the top 100, usually in the top 75, I think it is doing better than a lot of series. And here I'm talking series because I have 2 series. Some authors have 5 series going on. Some authors have 6 series going on. Some authors have series that are completed and are ongoing series. I have 2 series, one of which I kind of need to dust off, which is what I'm doing right now, and one where I'm consistently publishing at least 2 times a week. But my story, the one that is doing very well, and the other one, when I was publishing it very regularly, was also doing very well. They are very genre specific. They're romance, they're very tropey, they're steamy, they're angsty. As I said, they're soap opera-ish with a lot of episodes cliffhangers. So I think they work very well. They are, I think, what readers want to read, and something that I really enjoy writing. So I think that works. My episodes range from, I think, 800 words to 2,400 words. But usually they're between 1,000 and 1,500 words. Some of my readers are reading both of my Kindle Vellas, but actually a lot of them are only reading one of my series. As I said, Facebook ads have worked very well for me. My cost per click hovered at around 12 cents for a very long time. Now it's about 14 cents, and another ad is 17 cents per click. It's not easy to know what my return on investment is, since the metric only comes at the end of the month, and I'm unsure what's behind the actual bonus, so I can't really tell. TikTok videos worked for me for a bit when it comes to my Kindle Vella stories, but now they've been hovering at less than 100 views. Granted, I don't post very often on that account, and I had a few videos garner hundreds of views recently. Like one video had maybe 300, 400 views, but it did not get a lot of or favorites, and I think it may have been sent to a different part of the algorithm that was not my readership, which means I need to train the app again, and I need to see when I can fit that, if it should be part of my priorities right now. I'm trying to be more organized. Have I mentioned that? I'm part of several author groups on Facebook, if you're looking for Kindle Vella support or Kindle Vella author support or Kindle Vella authors, there is a lot of information in those groups. And there are some other groups where you can share your stories and you can do like read for reads and stuff. I don't do that. I don't do any reads for reads. I'm not part of those groups. That is not one of the ways that I'm sharing my stories with readers. I know that 2 of my newsletter subscribers for my Elodie Novodatsky newsletter replied they were interested when I mentioned it to them, I think in March, but I don't know if they've read it. Talking about my news, so that's what, like when it comes to the pen name, like I was okay to share that with them. I did not put the actual name in the newsletter. So it was very, very specific in terms of sharing the pen name. Talking about my newsletter, I've archived a lot of subscribers in the past 2 weeks. And I think it's going to give me more of an idea of the actual engagement the next time I plan something like a Kickstarter or another pre-order. I think it's going to be helpful to manage my expectations and also to look at strategies and to engage with my readers, because I think deliverability, that word is hard, should stay stable and people will actually see my emails. And yes, I'm also thinking about migrating from Mailchimp to MailerLite, but I'm not sure. And that's not the topic today. I really want to talk to you about a lot of different things, as you can tell. So circling back to my Kindle Vella experience, for me it has been both rewarding and fun. I've earned money while writing and drafting, and I've written so much more, I think, and so regularly since March, because that's not the only thing I'm writing. As you know, I wrote short stories for my newsletters. I wrote an exclusive epilogue. I wrote Sweets for Love. I have taken care of marketing. I'm taking care of translations. I am taking care of my audiobooks. Like it's a lot. And I think that doing the Kindle Vella and knowing that next year I'll be able, if I manage to continue drafting the way I am right now, I'll be able to publish 3 books under a pen name, and I still have time to write my Elodie Novodatsky books and my rom-coms, my adult rom-coms, which I'm planning to outline. It's a bit differently, but it is rewarding. The way I want to organize myself is to make sure I have episodes scheduled for my Kindle Vella and to start working for the release of the ebooks while coming up with another story idea for when season 2 of my first serial comes to an end. There are uncertainties about the platform. There are unknowns. It's not currently international, but there are talks that they're working on it. Kindle Vella is testing new features such as comments on episodes. The polls and author's notes on each episode are fun to me, so I don't know how comments will work exactly, but I mean, that's something that could be fun. Or could not. I don't know. Again, I have no idea how that's going to work. Will I continue publishing on Kindle Vella? The answer is yes. I started drafting an episode this morning and will continue either today or tomorrow, depending on how long it takes me to edit the podcast episode. And, you know, I need to walk the dog and make dinner and do a lot of things around the house and maybe volunteer. So, I mean, I have things and maybe just watch something on TV. Watch the next episode of Once Upon a Time. And if new features are put in place or if we have more transparency on the bonus, like those are things that I don't know. What I know is I cannot wait to hit publish again. And what I know is that it is working for me right now and that I am enjoying it. Yeah. Hope this episode was helpful. And if you have any questions about my experience with Kindle Vella, please don't hesitate to leave me a voicemail. And I would also love to know if you have tried to publish on Kindle Vella, if you are on Kindle Vella, how it's working for you. You can either leave me a voicemail or you can email me at author.elodienovodatsky@gmail.com, and the email is in the podcast description. As always, if you'd like to support this podcast, make sure you review it, rate it, share it with your friends, and grab one of my books if you're into romance, or one of my audiobooks. I added more signed, personalized paperback copies of Sweets for Love and The Leftover Bride, and trust me not, in my store if you're looking for a gift for someone who loves reading either steamy rom-coms Or in the case of Trust Me Not romantic suspense, head to my store. It's payhip.com/Elodie's books. And the link is in the episode's description. Thank you so much for listening. To all writers out there, happy writing, and to everyone, happy reading.